Welcome to Quick AI with PhiSho. I'm your host PhiSho, where I break down the biggest AI news in 5 minutes or less so you can stay ahead without the tech bro nonsense. Whether it's OpenAI, Apple, Google, or whoever's trying to run the AI world, I got you covered. No fluff, just real talk. Let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Quick AI with PhiSho, where we break down the AI news in 5 minutes or less. This is episode 4. And today we're talking about something that's got the tech and the creative worlds buzzing. It's called vibe coding. Yeah, you heard that right. Vibe coding. And what is that? What if AI could generate content based on an aesthetic or a mood or an emotion, a vibe, rather than just strict logic? Let's get into it. So what really is vibe coding? It's not really your typical, if anybody's familiar with code like Python, Java, or Swift situation. Instead of programming with like traditional logic and syntax, vibe coding is about training your AI to create based on a feeling, an aesthetic, or your contextual energy. So imagine telling your AI, give me a website that feels like a 90s R&B slow jam. And then it just generates a whole interface, based on Boys to Men, you know what I'm saying? Or Jodeci, or, all your old 90s R&B slow jam. And it just captures that essence, in the website. We're talking about AI that can generate music, visuals, entire user interfaces, and even brand identities just based purely on vibes. It's less about, strict commands and more about emotional resonance. So let's think, who's working on this? So right now, again, the biggest player in AI, OpenAI, is working on it. Another company called DeepMind, and even Google with their Gemini AI is also experimenting with ways to make AI more intuitive and more creative in the work that they do. So Google recently launched an AI-powered music generation tool that just doesn't create sounds, it creates a mood. And even Amazon and Apple are working on AI that can adjust smart home lighting, music, and even scent diffusers based on your emotional state. So that's vibe coding in action. And then meanwhile, you have startups like Runway ML and Uizer. They're making AI assistant design tools where you can build a whole website or video aesthetic just by describing a feeling. Isn't that crazy? So what is the potential and the problem with this vibe coding? You know what I'm saying? On the plus side is making AI way more intuitive and creative. There's no more rigid or robotic outputs. AI is actually learning to be more artistic, more fluid, more emotional. But there's a catch. How do we even measure vibes in code? You know what I mean? Because AI still struggles with, subjectivity, cultural nuances, and personal preference. You got to think about the people that are actually programming it. If I tell an AI to create a brand identity that feels like Atlanta in the early 2000s, how do we ensure it actually captures that energy and doesn't just spit out generic trap beats and peach colors? And honestly, big tech is they have not been good at understanding cultural aesthetics without accidentally stealing from creators. And I say accidentally in quotes. We all know how that goes. So how do we make sure AI is enhancing creativity instead of replacing human vision? So I think the future, if it's done right, vibe coding can change how we interact with AI, especially in music and gaming and content creation. So imagine you have an AI DJ that remixes songs in real time based on the crowd's energy, or a personal assistant that designs your home decor based on your mood swings. And we're already seeing early versions of this AI with music generators and responsive design tools and emotion-based recommendation algorithms. But the real question is vibe coding going to give AI true creative intuition, or is it just another fancy, term that they throwing out these days? But I think only time will tell. So that's it for today with Quick AI with PhiSho. If you got thoughts on vibe coding, drop a comment, share this episode with someone who you think will like it, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.